The Roundtable, Round 2, on the Voice of Niagara, News Talk 610 CKTB.
All right, we're live this morning in Thorold. The Roundtable Road Trip is at the head office of the River Lions downtown in Thorold. And it's funny, early this morning, I was asking people for their suggestions of famous people from Thorold. We started off by asking, who were the famous people from Thorold, and I was taking people on text. They were texting in their wins. And it's funny because I'd forgotten that we asked a trivia question in the middle of this, because all of a sudden I started getting answers like James Brown and Bing Crosby, and they were the answers to the trivia question. I thought, I didn't know Bing Crosby was born here. But these next two could qualify for two of the famous people from Thorold.
Wow.
That's a long intro to really suck up to you two.
Wow. Thanks, Tim.
The mayor of the city of Thorold, Terry Ugulini, is with us. Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning, Tim.
Michael Skrtich is the president of Skrtich Living, and of course runs this building that we're broadcasting from this morning.
Only famous on this street, Tim. That's it.
That's not true,
That's
Michael.
it.
That's
Yeah.
I heard your name over on Collier once or twice too, so it did come up in a discussion
Yes,
or two.
I can imagine how. And
Yes.
Collier, with all the students over there, that
Yes.
I was going to solve that student problem by putting a nice, beautiful building in
I hear
downtown
there's a
Thorold.
building here.
What a
that's
great
opening up.
segue.
Yes.
Yes, we've got a 29 Pine Street happening in downtown Thorold. We've got the Stubby's product. This building went up in 6 weeks. It's amazing. It's the talk of the town. Everybody's driving around. We got this thing up so fast. It's unbelievable. What a great project, Mr. Mayor. You must be so proud of it as well, too.
It is amazing that how fast that building went up. It's the
You
technology.
read that just the way he wrote it, actually. It was. Actually, let's talk about housing for a minute, because it is a big issue here in Thorold.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, I know, Michael, you're talking about housing students and whatnot, but
Right.
it's not just students.
Right.
It's affordable housing for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And any downtown that wants to make a go of it these days has to have people living in it.
Yes, absolutely. And the right kind of people, too.
Yeah.
But any new housing helps the situation, because the way they explain it to me, okay, so we're going to create this beautiful rooms with washrooms, the Skrtich Living brand, in downtown Thorold. We're going to take all the students now, say, out of all the homes that are all over Thorold and all the other areas. And now those rooms open up because these kids can afford to pay, a premium price, and they want their privacy. That room now opens up for somebody else to go rent. So it always helps the housing crisis like you're talking about. Maybe they don't take students. Maybe they take other people.
Yeah.
So then it helps. Everybody wins.
Is it working downtown Thorold here, Terry?
Very much so. And the beauty of it, which a lot of people don't realize, is the buildings like the Skrtich Living and Dividitis, we don't have student issues in those buildings. They're well maintained. They're well supervised.
Thanks, Terry.
And really, we have no student issues. And to go further on what Michael said, with what we're doing downtown and in the lofts, and we're hoping that type of development takes pressure off the subdivisions in the residential areas.
We talked a little bit about that earlier this morning with the CAO, Mr. Diwali, but we were talking about how quickly, Thorold is growing. It's growing, and where it goes, and keeping that growth under control, because you don't want just crazy growth going all over the place. I mean, you let Michael go, and he'll just be everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
And
why not?
But does the affordable housing thing come into this as well? I mean, we talked about the student housing, but affordable housing is a big issue in every city, in every village, and it's an issue here too.
It's an issue in every city, every community, and
How are we addressing it here?
What we're doing here is twofold. We've been very active with our age-friendly group, because there's been two areas of affordable housing. It's affordable housing across all age groups. And another thing that was brought to our attention is diversified housing options for seniors. So as they want to sell their home and downsize and move in but stay in the community, what are we offering them so they don't have to leave Thorold? So we work on that, and again, we're doing a lot of great work through our age-friendly committee. On the affordable housing side, we held a housing forum with developers and builders, as well as working through Thorold Nonprofit Housing to try and find ways that we can accommodate that and move forward to provide that type of housing within our community, and look at ways the city can contribute on issues like development charges or whatever we can do to help move that forward.
Yeah, like he's talking about development charges. That's why
Yeah.
we develop here, because they waive them all. So they create a CIP, and it's like, okay, develop here, and it's free development. You pay a little bit or half, and then you get it back after your development is done. That's a great incentive for Thorold and building things like that.
Michael, as a developer yourself,
Yes.
if somebody was, if you're building a condo development or an apartment building or what have you, and the government says to you, part of this has to be affordable housing.
Yes.
What do you say?
The government doesn't tell me that. It's only the government will tell you that only if you go try and get money from the government.
Right.
So the way that works is you apply for stuff, and they say, okay, you're going to do affordable housing. We'll give you this much money, and then this percentage of the building
Yep.
has to be affordable housing, and then they do 20% market rates, market rents. Market rents have gone up now, as everybody knows, because the rules have changed. And for example, next door we've got 10 Albert, which is a beautiful luxury building, and the rents are very high there, but it's a top-notch luxury. Like you can't get any better than that next door. So there's no government there because we didn't ask for any money from the government. So those are different.
But a lot of people bring that subject up, saying that is something that they would like to see mandated in everything that goes up, no matter what the development is, that some of it be mandated to affordable housing. And as a developer, how would you react to that?
I'm the private market. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I think the private market will pay for and what we can do. So, for example, no, we don't want any government money here. That you can go try and do those projects. Those are different. You can get money and say, okay, we're going to do a site specific for affordable housing, and then you design it a certain way.
Yep.
The city has to help in that one, that regard, because there won't be enough parking. Planning is an issue. You got to, get more rooms. So those issues are solvable. There's just a lot of bottlenecks along the way.
Yep.
So it's difficult. I've tried that before. It's a different animal. It's a different business. So we're the free market. We think we know what we can charge rent for, what we can build it for, and then we take care of the economy that way. And it helps everyone. Like I was saying earlier about, getting people from this area here and bringing them down here, and then, creating a great city like downtown Thorold, just adding the right people in the mix.
The round table continues on News Talk 610 CKTB.
All right, we're about 13 minutes before we get to 9 o'clock at 610 CKTB. We're in Thorold, the Roundtable Road Trip. We're at the head offices of the Niagara River Lines. Actually, while you just brought that up during the break, we should pause for a moment. We talked to Mr. Morialia early on, but River Lions really looking forward to it's going to be an interesting year this year. A different league.
Yes. Mike
It's a
Morielli
different
is
beast.
another famous Thorold person on this street. His is Albert Street.
Yep.
You're right. We're talking about famous people. It's exciting. The summer league is such a great idea. Kids can go out there, and the summer's off, and then you're not competing with hockey. And it's a proper, true Canadian brand that my business partner, Richard Petco, has started it all and done it all. And
That's a great show down at the Meridian. It really is.
it is. The arena is perfect. I hope everybody goes to the games. It has to. You have to support, right? So if
Yep.
you want this basketball team to stay in Niagara, you got to go to the games. You got to get the tickets. And then
And the tickets are affordable. I mean,
absolutely. If somebody wants a suite, it's like $2,000. We're allowed to sell the suites now. It's $2,000 for a suite. You get 10 games and you get 8 tickets. What a great price, great value for your family. So if you have a big family, with a lot of kids and a lot of family and relatives, and you switch it up between this person and that person, it's not that expensive. It's cheaper than courtside. I myself like courtside, obviously.
There you go.
I mean,
Well,
right, Terry?
I think you probably have an in for that.
Yeah.
Michael Skrtich is with us this morning. The mayor of Thorold, Terry Ugulini, is with us. Terry, amalgamation talk comes up all the time, and obviously it's top of mind after meetings this week. Once again, the two people who are charged with reviewing all of this had their meetings today, last week, and they had citizens, they had politicians, they had everybody talking to them. Are you worried at all that Thorold gets lost in this? I know I've asked that question before, but
I think that, you're always concerned, but
Yeah.
I'm confident. I'm always optimistic. I think we put a good case forward for the city of Thorold when Manoj and I met with the consultants. I think the message is loud and clear from the residents of Thorold, what they want. And
because they basically said, keep Thorold, goodbye to the region, is what they were.
And you
in
heard
effect
that
saying.
across the region from the average homeowner. And I look at it when we presented our case, there's definitely synergies to save money. And we are constantly looking and working on that. We've proved with initiatives that we're working on, like the Canada Games and regional transit, that we can work together and move forward as a region. And also, I think that modified two-tier system, I think that the size of regional government's too big. I make no bones about that. I think 32 people on at the table is unmanageable. I can see that reduced in size, but the region serves an important function on delivering services that smaller communities by themselves cannot deliver. It has to be delivered on a regional model, but the people want to be able to contact their mayor, their councillors, and deal with local issues at the local level and know that people are listening to what they're
Terry,
saying.
do you have a preference? You're saying you kind of like the idea of a modified two-tier system. Other people have said divide it into 4 or divide it into 2 or, get rid of the region altogether and, go back to 12 municipalities and just a shared service contract kind of thing. What's your preference? I mean, you're on regional council. You go every week to the meetings.
My preference is that we keep the municipalities, we look for efficiencies, and at the regional level, I think we reduce the size of the regional council. And the bigger municipalities can still have their voice because you can go to a weighted vote. And I think it's best for everybody. That's my personal opinion.
Yep.
And
Mr. Skrtich, you're a developer. You're a business person. You're watching this with interest. How much is it going to affect you when the government says, this is what we're going to do?
I like less government, Tim. Anything to do with
Surprises the hell out of me.
Wow. As much as I like less government, I'm a fan of Thorold. I like the way you deal on a one-on-one, because you asked me as a developer. Well, as a developer, I love dealing with Thorold because they know when I go there and when I go to the counter, I hand in a set of drawings that are proper, and what I say I'm going to do, I do. So it's so important to have that relationship with the city, knowing that the developer is going to do what he says. And look, today I got in trouble from the mayor already. So he says, well, Michael, what are you doing with the old bank that you guys just acquired? Well, I said, we're going to put a steakhouse. He says, well, you got to fix it up a little. He's got some boards there. People don't like it. They've been complaining. So see, mayor right here giving me heck, and I got to deal with it.
But when you're doing that, just for people listening, do you have to deal with Terry, but do you also have to deal with Jim? What I'm saying is, do you also have things to deal with in terms of the region as well as the municipality? Is that frustrating? Is there too much duplication when you're trying to do business that way?
Well, no, the region has their parameters, their broad things. Here's the rules. You got to play within the rules. Real simple. So tell me what the rules are, and I'll play within those rules. That's what I do. Here's the rules. I go there. We have the regional meetings. They don't get involved. They approve it. Because we're building, if I need to change zoning or something, that's different. They go in and they say, well, we want this, we want this. What are you building? We don't care. We just want to know what the size of the building, the lot size, and all this other stuff. So it's great. It works out well, and then the city is great. I like working with the city of Thorold. Now, you say join them all. There's other municipalities, I don't like dealing with because it's more difficult. And then there's other municipalities that have fantastic tax incentives. But I can't go there because these business models don't work and all the stores are empty and it just doesn't work. People want to come to live in downtown Thorold. It's becoming, an up-and-coming place to live. Look, we've got, 18 luxury unit apartments here. They sold their homes, like you said. Now they're living here. We've got this high-end student stuff. So it's the restaurants are opening up. We got Karma Chameleon and all the, the cafes and the nice full restaurant, Biscotti Cafe. It's really nice place to come and live.
Terry, are people still concerned about losing things like banks? We talked in years past about, LCBOs and Service Ontario's leaving and that kind of thing. It's an issue for people who live here because they feel like they're being, ignored by bigger corporations who say, we'll move it down the street and everybody can just drive a few extra minutes.
It is frustrating, but it's particularly frustrating for seniors because they're the ones that have the hardest time because they rely on those services and they don't want to have to go down into the traffic maze to do business. So I find that particularly it's hard on the senior population. We're working hard. We've opened more businesses in Thorold than businesses that have closed. So we've definitely are moving in a positive direction. We're having constant discussions with these businesses. The business model is changing from the province as far as liquor sales and that, so you'll see big changes coming on that end, which I think will alleviate that concern, but we're constantly working on that. On the banking level, we met with CIBC, we met with the Royal. The Royals agreed to leave the ATM machine, and they're working closely with us to look at our growth model and maybe another opportunity to put a branch in a different location. So we're definitely proactive. I think when you look at the service sector, like getting your license and that, it's unfortunate in one way, but in the other way, for convenience, people are doing that online now. And so it's a double-edged sword. But when I look at issues relating to banking, I think that the banks need to take a close look at what the credit unions are doing. And the credit unions are changing their business model to be more community orientated. They're involved in community activities, and they're keeping a strong presence in communities. So I think that business model, they're going the opposite direction of what the banks are.
What's that community thing you were saying that's happening in 4 days? What was that?
In 4 days? No, Canada Day.
Oh, Canada Day weekend. What's going on there?
Oh, you may as well answer. You go ahead.
Okay, Canada Day weekend. I'm so excited. We're going to be running a 4-day event in the Battle of Beaver Dams Park, starting on Friday evening, going through to Canada Day, which is on a Monday this year. We're going to be fully licensed. We're going to have food trucks. It's a free event. We're not charging to get in.
Is it going to be ice cream?
I would think there will be. Yes. And there's
and
also
tailgating.
Entertainment is going to be right from local bands to bands as far away as Florida that we have booked. One tremendous act that we got coming in that I'm looking forward to, and I've seen many times, is a band called Pretzel Logic out of Toronto. 10-piece
Steely
band
Dan
that
stuff.
does a Steely Dan cover.
Yep.
So it's going to be a great weekend, and I can't thank enough the sponsors that have come on board to help us, and we're looking forward to a lot of fun.
As we begin to wrap this up, Mr. Skrtich, you're in Thorold. You've stayed in Thorold, and we've talked about this the last 2 years that we've been here on our roundtable road trip. Why do you stay?
Why do I stay here?
What is it about Thorold?
It's more manageable. You know what I mean? Like if you go to the other cities, they're really big. Their downtowns are much bigger. This one's a little bit smaller. And someone can make a difference. So if you change slowly, as we started changing the one building here, it looks beautiful, prettier, and people want to see it. And then they come for a drive and they see this old historic town. And then, we won the Prince of Wales award, for Thorold. It's not just because of the downtown; it's the whole, city of Thorold, which is, a fantastic achievement. And it's a really cool place to come. So now you can start to get, okay, everyone's got all these tourist places. Well, what if you start getting some, bed and breakfasts happening over here by the canal? You've got the canal and the bike paths and all these different things, and it's a safe place to live in, and it's great. So
Mr.
that's why I'm
Ugulini,
still here.
we talked the night you were elected, and you talked about a lot of the things that you wanted. Is it happening the way that you wanted it to happen?
It is. Things are unfolding positively. Things never move as fast as you want, and you're constantly working, and believe me, we make a full-time effort at this, and we work hard with our developers, builders, and with businesses, because it's not only about attracting businesses, but it's also about looking after businesses once they set up in Thorold and maintaining business retention and expansion. And we put a large focus on that, and I'm excited about the future of our city.
Terry Ugulini, Michael Skrtich, thanks so much.
Thank you, Tim.
And thanks
you,
for
Tim.
hosting us again this morning.
My pleasure.